There's something powerful about silence. In a world that's constantly broadcasting every move, every success, every step, we forget the value of keeping things to ourselves. But the truth is, your greatest transformation doesn't need an audience. It doesn't require applause, likes, or validation. In fact, the most powerful glow-up happens behind closed doors, away from the noise, when no one is watching. That's where real magic is born. That's where strength is built, piece by piece, quietly and consistently. You see, silence is not weakness. Silence is control. It is focus. When you choose to rise in silence, you're telling the world, I don't need to announce my moves. My results will speak for me. Because people don't need to know how you're building yourself. Let them wonder. Let them speculate. Let them create their own stories while you're writing your own reality. This journey you're on, it doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be true, intentional, consistent, private. You don't owe anyone explanations for your discipline, your boundaries, your decisions, or your distance. If you're taking time for yourself, if you're choosing healing, growth, and self-love, that's yours, not Instagram's, not anyone else's. And the truth is, when you start doing better, glowing differently, radiating peace and power, some people will pretend not to notice. Others will gossip. A few might even get uncomfortable. Let them. Because what you're doing isn't for their approval. You're doing this for you. To feel alive again, to feel proud of yourself when no one's clapping, to look in the mirror and finally recognize the person looking back. There's a quiet kind of confidence that comes from knowing your worth without shouting it, from walking away from drama, ignoring the noise, choosing your peace, and still coming out stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable. That kind of energy, it doesn't beg to be noticed. It makes people pause and ask, how did she do it? And when they do ask, you won't need to answer. Because the glow will say it all. This is your season of elevation, of healing, of reclaiming your power. But not everyone gets a front row seat to your growth. So glow up in silence, protect your energy, water your soul, and when you bloom, bloom so beautifully, they can't believe it was you all along. Let's begin this journey one part at a time. The power of moving in silence. There is a deep strength in silence that most people overlook. In a world addicted to validation, moving in silence feels almost rebellious. But the truth is, when you glow up in silence, you reclaim control. You stop letting others define your pace, your worth, or your path. You begin to live for you, not for the likes, not for the comments, not for the approval, just you. Moving in silence doesn't mean you're hiding. It means you're healing, you're planning, you're executing without interference. Because not everyone deserves access to your progress. Some people only want to observe, to doubt you, criticize you, or derail you, and you're not here to feed their curiosity. You're here to build a life you're proud of, even if no one's clapping yet. When you start working on yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, you realize how precious your energy really is. You don't want to waste it explaining your next step to people who don't truly care. You don't want to perform for the audience anymore. Instead, you want to protect your peace. You want to walk in purpose. Your silence becomes your shield and your sanctuary. While others talk about what they're going to do, you're already doing it. While they're posting about the hustle, you're quietly mastering your craft. While they seek quick applause, you're building long-term greatness. This journey of a silent glow-up teaches you patience. It teaches you discipline, because there's no instant reward, no crowd cheering, just you and your grind, just you and your reflection, slowly changing, just you and your goals becoming more real each day. And here's the beautiful part. When your glow-up finally shows, it shocks them. They won't believe how far you've come. Why? Because you didn't announce it. You didn't promote every small step. You just became. And that quiet transformation is far more powerful than any loud declaration. So if you're on this journey, don't worry if no one sees it yet. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep doing the work. Let your silence be your superpower. Because one day, they'll look at you and wonder, when did she become that woman? And you'll smile, because you know exactly when it started. Let the results speak for you. When you glow up in silence, something magical happens. You stop needing to explain yourself. You stop chasing validation, because your work starts speaking louder than your words ever could. Your presence becomes proof of your progress. Your confidence, your peace, your energy, they all begin to tell a story. A story of quiet resilience, of unseen battles won, of transformation that didn't beg for attention, but demanded respect. You don't need to update people on your every move. You don't need to defend your dreams. You don't have to tell the world you're improving. Your discipline does that for you. Your growth shows in how you walk into a room, how you no longer tolerate nonsense, how you prioritize your peace. You've changed, and the ones paying attention know it. Let them wonder, let them speculate, let them sit in silence trying to figure out how you went from broken to built, from tired to thriving. That's the beauty of moving in silence. It builds a quiet storm, one they never saw coming. You're not in competition with anyone. You're competing with the person you used to be. Every day you're becoming sharper, more focused, less reactive, more aligned with your purpose. And none of that needed a big announcement. Because the real ones know it's not the loudest in the room that have the most power. It's the most centered, the most intentional, the ones who don't waste time proving anything. They just prove it through their life. When people finally notice your glow up, they'll think it was sudden, overnight. But you'll know how many late nights it took, how many sacrifices, how many days you wanted to give up but chose not to. And that's what makes your glow up sacred. It's yours, fully yours, not influenced, not borrowed, not approved by anyone else, just earned. So walk forward in silence, let them wonder, let them talk, let them doubt. Because in the end, when your transformation is undeniable, your silence will have been your greatest strategy. Not because you were hiding, but because you were building. And now, they'll wish they paid attention when you were quiet. But it's too late. You've already become her. Let your success speak louder than your presence. When a woman starts to elevate in silence, people notice. Even if she never says a word, they feel her absence, they sense her shift. But the true magic happens when she lets her success do all the talking. She no longer tries to prove anything to anyone. No explanations, no validation seeking, no look at me. Just work, just discipline, just transformation. She's not online flashing every move. She's not at every event trying to impress. She's in the gym while others gossip. She's learning new skills while others waste time scrolling. She's investing in her mind, her body, her energy, because she knows the glow up is spiritual first, internal first. And when the internal is aligned, the external follows effortlessly. People will wonder how she did it. They'll ask, when did she change? How did she level up so fast? But they won't realize it wasn't fast. It was consistent. It was in the moments when no one was watching, when she was tired but kept going, when she wanted to quit but chose to believe in herself instead. That's the part no one sees. That's the part that makes the glow up unstoppable. Protect your energy, protect your peace. The glow up isn't just about looking different. It's about being different. Real growth requires you to protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. When a woman is glowing up in silence, she becomes selective with her time, her circle, her conversations. Her boundaries become firm, her focus becomes sacred. She's no longer arguing with people who don't want to understand. She's not chasing anyone who doesn't value her presence. She's not wasting energy trying to convince the world of her worth. She knows who she is, and that knowing gives her a power that's unshakable. She doesn't need applause to feel seen. Her peace is her applause. Her discipline is her validation. She stops entertaining drama. Stops showing up where her soul doesn't feel safe. Stops explaining why she's distant, because the truth is, she's just evolving. And evolution requires solitude, distance, elevation. That's why the glow up is so confusing to people. It doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens when she chooses herself behind the scenes. And when she re-emerges, stronger, sharper, more radiant than ever, all they can do is wonder, how did she do it? But she won't answer. She'll just smile. Because when a woman glows up in silence, her results speak so loud she never has to. When you focus on you, everything changes. Something powerful happens when you finally shift the focus back to yourself. Not in a selfish way, but in a healing, elevating, soul-honoring way. When you stop worrying about who's watching, who's clapping, who's judging, and just start building. Quietly, consistently, daily. This is the real glow up. You begin to wake up with purpose. You're not scrolling through social media comparing your timeline to someone else's. You're not chasing validation. You're not asking anyone to recognize your worth. Instead, you're locked in on your routine, your peace, your goals. And that's when real change begins. You start seeing your body respond to the self-care. Your mind clears up from the silence. Your circle gets smaller but richer. You stop explaining yourself. You stop overthinking your value. You stop entertaining people who bring nothing but noise and confusion. That clarity, that's the glow up no one can fake. It's not about showing them. It's about becoming so whole within yourself that nothing outside of you can shake you. That's the kind of power that makes people wonder. How is she doing it? How is she glowing like that? Why does her energy feel so different now? They won't see the long nights, the early mornings, the discipline, the tears you wiped in silence, the prayers you whispered when no one was listening. But they'll feel the shift. They'll see the new you, and they'll never be able to explain it. Because you weren't loud about it. You weren't announcing every step. You were too busy becoming. That's what makes your glow up unstoppable. Your glow up is your power. Protect it. Your glow up is not just physical. It's not just about your hair, your skin, your wardrobe. It's about your soul becoming lighter, your energy rising, and your purpose sharpening. It's spiritual, it's emotional, it's powerful, and it must be protected. When a woman begins to glow from within, the world starts to notice, but not always in ways that feel safe or supportive. Some people will be drawn to your light just to dim it. They'll compliment you just to compete with you. They'll pretend to support you while secretly hoping you fail. This is why glowing up in silence matters. Because silence keeps your energy clean, it keeps your intentions protected, and it keeps your focus undisturbed. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your journey. You don't have to post your progress online or prove your elevation to those who never believed in you. When you're glowing up, truly glowing up, you'll realize how sacred that transformation is. You'll want to guard it like a flame in the wind, quietly, carefully, with intention. During this phase, boundaries become your best friends. You start saying no to things that drain you, even if they once excited you. You start walking away from conversations that steal your peace. You stop explaining your worth, and instead of seeking validation, you begin to validate yourself. That's when your glow becomes untouchable. Remember, your silence is not weakness, it's strategy, it's strength. It's you saying, I protect your peace like it's sacred. When you start glowing up in silence, one thing becomes crystal clear. Your peace is priceless, and not everyone deserves access to it. This is the stage where distractions come dressed as opportunities, where chaos tries to disguise itself as connection, where people suddenly remember your name when your energy starts shifting, when your presence starts speaking louder than your words ever could. That's why you must protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. You've worked too hard, cried too many quiet tears, and sacrificed too much to let someone walk in and shake your foundation. You're not where you used to be, and you didn't come this far to be dragged back into old patterns by familiar faces. That version of you that tolerated everything just to keep the peace, she doesn't exist anymore. Now you choose yourself. You say no without guilt. You rest without explanation. You walk away from drama like your soul depends on it, because it does. And as you do that, something incredible happens. You rise, not loudly, not with noise, but with undeniable power. You begin to understand that peace isn't just the absence of problems, it's the presence of alignment. It's living in a way that doesn't betray your heart. It's removing yourself from rooms where you have to shrink to fit. It's turning down the volume of the world so you can hear your own voice again. People may not understand your silence. They may misinterpret your distance. They might even call it arrogance. Let them. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your healing, for your boundaries, for your growth. You owe yourself a life that feels good when no one's watching. A life where your mind is quiet, your soul is full, and your joy isn't dependent on who's clapping for you. That's real power. That's real peace. And that is how you protect your glow. Let them wonder. While you build in silence, there is something powerful, almost magical, about staying silent while you evolve. While others are loud with opinions, desperate for validation, or constantly announcing every little move, you are steady, focused, intentional, because you've realized something that most people never understand. The real glow-up doesn't need an audience. It needs consistency, discipline, and quiet courage. When you build in silence, you don't waste energy defending your dreams. You don't explain your absence. You don't announce your every step. You simply disappear from the noise and reappear as a stronger, wiser, elevated version of yourself. And that silence, that's what keeps them guessing. That's what makes them whisper. That's what makes them wonder, how did she do it? Let them. Let them wonder how you transformed your pain into peace. Let them wonder how you went from broken to becoming your own healer. Let them wonder how you became radiant without asking for their spotlight. Because you know the truth, they only see the glow, not the grind. They see the strength, not the nights you cried and still showed up. They see the woman you are now, but they'll never truly understand what it took to become her. And you don't need them to. This journey was never about proving anyone wrong. It was always about proving yourself right. You knew deep down that there was more in you, more fire, more power, more light. You just needed space to tap into it, and silence gave you that space. You stopped posting every move. You stopped explaining your growth. You stopped asking for permission to rise. And in that stillness, you bloomed. You learned that real confidence is quiet. Real healing is private. Real success doesn't beg for attention. It speaks for itself. And now you walk with a calm no one gave you, a peace no one can steal, a glow that didn't come from filters or applause, but from rebuilding yourself brick by brick when no one was watching. You're not done yet. You're still rising, still evolving, still becoming. But this time, you don't need to prove it. You just live it. And the world, they'll feel it. Without a single word, your energy will speak volumes. Your presence will tell the story of a woman who found herself in the silence and came back louder than ever, without making a sound. So keep glowing in silence. Keep building quietly. Let them doubt you, misunderstand you, talk about you. Let them wonder. Because while they're watching, you're winning. The woman who respected herself first and changed everything. There comes a moment in every woman's life when she looks in the mirror, not to fix her makeup, not to check for flaws, but to finally see herself clearly. Not through the eyes of others, not filtered by societal expectations or the weight of other people's opinions, but through her own eyes. And in that moment, something powerful awakens. She realizes that she doesn't need to beg for love, chase after respect, or shrink herself to fit into anyone's version of enough. She is enough, as she is, right now, imperfect, evolving, fierce and beautiful. Not because the world said so, but because she finally believes it for herself. That is the turning point. The moment she starts respecting herself. And from that moment forward, everything changes. The world begins to reflect back what she projects from within. Her energy shifts, her standards rise, her boundaries become sacred. She no longer entertains people who disrespect her, because she's no longer willing to disrespect herself. She no longer stays silent to keep the peace, because she knows her voice has power. And she no longer fears being alone, because she has finally become her own safe space. That is the woman the world can't help but notice. The woman who walks with quiet confidence, not because life is perfect, but because she's made peace with who she is. The woman who isn't desperate to be chosen, because she's already chosen herself. The woman who doesn't just look powerful, she is powerful. Because her strength is not in how loud she is, but in how deeply she honors herself. And no, she didn't become her overnight. It took heartbreak, disappointment, and hard truths. It took walking away from what was familiar, healing old wounds, and building new habits. It took nights of loneliness, mornings of discipline, and countless moments of doubt. But she stayed the course. She didn't give up on herself, and that's what made all the difference. If you're listening to this right now and you feel like you're in the middle of that transformation, keep going. If you're letting go of old versions of yourself, walking away from toxic people, or learning how to say no without guilt, you are on the path. Don't rush it. Don't doubt it. Just stay true to yourself. Respect is not something you earn from others first. It's something you demand by how you treat yourself. When you set the standard, the world rises to meet it. When you love yourself boldly, the universe aligns in your favor. And when you refuse to settle for less, something greater always finds its way to you. So rise, Queen. Not because they told you to, but because you finally told yourself, I deserve better. And now, there's no going back.